thinking about bioinformatics at their very early stages in the academic journeys. In terms of background, participants come from diverse fields: biotechnology, microbiology, biochemistry, biomedical sciences, and of course, bioinformatics itself. This diversity reflects how multidisciplinary this field truly is. Now, let's meet the experts who will be guiding you through today's session. Now, let's meet the experts. And first of all, we have Mr. Nadeem Khan, who is the founder and founder of Omics Nexus. He is a bioinformatician and specializes in NGS data analysis, molecular docking, molecular simulation, and bioinformatics project development. Further, we have Mr. Haseeb Manzoor, who is co-founder, and his expertise lies in the metagenomics, machine learning-based biomarker discovery, and scientific communication. Unfortunately, Haseeb will not be able to join us today. He has some personal commitments. And next is myself, Muneeb Nasir. I'm an expert in bioinformatics pipeline development, computer-aided drug designing, and I'm also working as a consultant for designing the projects in the bioinformatics field. And finally, we have Mr. Hazrat Maaz, who is also a bioinformatician and have a variety of expertise in artificial intelligence, machine learning applications, bioinformatics data analysis, and web development. Together, they represent the multiple disciplinary expertise that drives the Omics Nexus, combining biology, computation, and innovation. Now that you have met our amazing team, here's what we have planned for today's session. So this slide gives you an overview of what we will be covering in this session, from the basics of bioinformatics to the real-life applications and career insights. To take us through these exciting topics and share his expertise, I would now like to invite Mr. Nadeem Khan, founder of Omics Nexus, to lead the discussion from here. Over to you, Nadeem. Thank you.
Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nadeem Khan, as mentioned by Muneeb, and I'm the founder of Omics Nexus and dealing with bioinformatics from the last 4 years. I'll be leading this webinar. Before that, I want to discuss about the contents that we will be covering in this webinar. Is basically the introduction and what is bioinformatics. I will be explaining that the concept of bioinformatics through different practical examples. And then we'll be discussing the career trends in bioinformatics, then how we can shift to bioinformatics. We'll be also sharing our real life stories, that how we have transformed our careers from biological sciences to bioinformatics. And at the last, we'll be giving you our company's overview, that what we are doing and what we are planning in future to guide you people. And in the last, there will be a career counseling session. Although this webinar is a career counseling type webinar, but we'll be dealing with your question answers. So this is the most important part of this webinar, that we'll be hearing you and we'll be assisting you live, that how to deal with bioinformatics and how to integrate it in your lives. Okay, so pay attention, and if you are having any queries, so in the last you will be allowed to ask verbally, or you can just type your message and type your query, and we will be answering you each and every query. Okay, so these are the contents. Now the most important thing is that we'll start with the objectives, as I also mentioned, but the objectives, the clear-cut objectives of this webinar is to give clarity and confidence while choosing the right career journey. As mentioned, that we are having intermediate students, so we are happy to have them, because we acknowledge them and we motivate them, and we appreciate that they have joined and they are thinking about something new, because bioinformatics is a new field. So good luck to them, and we will try to guide them clearly. So the first objective, to give clarity to the intermediate students, that if they want to start their career with bioinformatics, so they are more than welcome. The second objective is that the person who is already in this field, and for example, if he is in biological sciences, so how he can integrate bioinformatics into his research, and how he can pursue his career in bioinformatics. Okay, so these are the objectives. Now, as mentioned, current scenario is that some of you are looking ahead, wondering which career to choose. Obviously, the intermediate students. And the second are the biological students, biosciences, microbiology, biotechnology, and other fields that they are wondering how to fit bioinformatics into their research. So we'll be guiding them. Okay, so these were the objectives and the type of students that we are having now. And let's start that. What is basically bioinformatics? And we are very honest, we got your back, and this session connects both the journeys, inshallah. Okay, so now first thing is that what is bioinformatics? Okay, bioinformatics is, if we just define it, so it's an interdiscipline field that include biology, statistics, and computer science. So this is the simplest definition of bioinformatics. Okay, we all know that what is biology, we all know that what is statistics, and we all know that what is computer science. But when we integrate these three domains, so there is a new field known as bioinformatics. So basically, bioinformatics is an interdiscipline field of biology, statistics, and computer science. Now, it's just a definition, but mostly uh, I will explain this through practical examples. Okay, that what basically is bioinformatics. Okay, so these examples are from real life. So I think you all know about mutations. Mutations are small changes in DNA that might change how a protein works. We all know, we have studied mutations in our biology class when in our ninth, 8th, or 6th standard. So this is the part of biology, and sometimes it leads to a disease. Okay, so now this part is of the biology part. Now, computer science, a single human has over 3 billion DNA letters. And to find one mutation, we need computers, just like Google helps us search millions of web pages. Computer help us search through DNA to spot where the mutation is. So this is simple. From biology, we get the concepts and the data of mutations. The data might be in the form of the data is in the form of DNA sequences, and we all know that what is DNA sequences. Okay, and after that, what computer does is that they analyze the sequences, the DNA sequences. Okay, so a normal human being, using his mind, using his manual skills, he cannot analyze or he cannot see the mutation inside the in the DNA strands. So we need computer science, we need softwares, tools to analyze where that mutation lies. Okay, so from biology we get the biological data in the form of sequences, DNA sequences, and computer science managed to screen it and to analyze that DNA sequences. And now what statistics do? Statistics see that either a specific mutation is important or not, because we know that there are many random mutations in our body. Okay, because and they are having no effect. So in order to screen and to filter those mutations that are important and they can cause a disease or not, they specific formulas are being used for that, to find that important mutation. So basically it's a probability type thing. So in statistics we use probability scores and different formulas to find that mutation. So now just look here, this is a holistic overview of bioinformatics. Now these three domains are being collectively used. Biology provide the data, computer science analyze the data, and to find the important mutation out of that huge data, we use the statistics, okay, the probability and that. So you should know these three domains. So this is basically bioinformatics. So I think now you are familiar with this example. Now let's get into another example. It's about the gene expression. In biology, we know that not all genes are active at same time. We know that in our liver cells, certain genes are expressed. We all know that we are having 23 pairs of 48 chromosomes. Okay, so 46. Sorry. So, but and in each cell the chromosomes are present. But if there is a liver cell and a heart cell, so the gene expression decide that it should be converted into a heart cell or a liver cell. Okay, so not all genes are active at the same time. For example, the insulin gene is active in a pancreas cell but not in a brain cell. Okay, so this is called gene expression data. Now what does computer science do? Computer science, if you want to compare the gene expression of two samples or maybe hundreds of samples, okay, so it's impossible for the human beings to manually look into that stuff. Okay, so what computer does is that computer help us read and store these massive tables of gene activity like Excel file, but as much bigger as far in a faster scale. Okay, now we get the biological data, the gene expression data, and then we get the computer science help us to store the data and to analyze the data. Now what does statistics do? Now we are having both type of data. We are having gene expression data from a normal sample, for example, and we are also having gene expression data from a disease sample. And now we are having the results, but statistics decide that either the genes that are being present in both the sample, either they are upregulated or downregulated, or either they are differentially expressed or not. So for that, obviously some statistical formulas are being used. So now how informatics fits in? We start from the biological data, we use computer science to handle that data, and we use statistics to analyze or to decide that either the actual or to extract the actual objectives and the actual results out of that data. So now here also the the bioinformatics, these three domains are interlinked to each other. Okay, so this is also known as bioinformatics. Now, the third and the last example is related to protein structures. We all know that our proteins are made from amino acids, okay, and each amino acid have a lot of bonds inside them. So for example, the shape of hemoglobin allows it to carry oxygen, okay. So I think in your lifetime you have seen the structure, the protein structure of the hemoglobin, okay. It's a very complex structure. Now what does a computer science do? But a protein has thousands of atoms. To imagine and predict its 3D shape, we need powerful computers. Now if someone, from the biological part, amino acid sequence is being given to you and you are asked to predict the structure of this protein, okay, predict the structure of this amino acid sequence. Now manually it cannot be done. What does computer do is that it analyze the data and they start to predict the structure of it using simulations in modeling the protein, okay. Now here how statistics helps, okay. Now by predicting the structure of protein, we are having millions of protein folds in our database. Now to check that this amino acid sequence have the right fold, the right protein fold, statistics come into play and it sees that which fold is being the best to give the protein the structure, okay. So in other words, basically it's the probability. Now here the structuring, the modeling of protein is also basically bioinformatics, that how biology, computer science and statistics link to each other and they form this type of thing. So I think now you are clear about that what is bioinformatics. Now why bioinformatics matters today? It's very much important that why bioinformatics matter. We all know COVID-19 story. Okay, we all know that what happens in 2019 and 2020, that we were just struck by the COVID-19. But using bioinformatics tools and bioinformatics applications, the vaccine was being made in just 1 year. Okay, traditionally we all know that if we want to make a protein traditionally without bioinformatics, so mainly it take 10 to 20 years or 15 years. But how bioinformatics can do it? Within weeks, scientists sequence SARS-CoV to the sequence of the that virus, and after that, what does bioinformatics helps to reveal the mutations, because we know that there were a lot of variants. So after when we sequence the real genome of the COVID-19, so bioinformatics helps to analyze that sequence as mentioned before, and after that they search the mutation inside that for example, if a new variant arises, bioinformatics quickly analyze the genome and check that which part is being changed. So this helps to identify the variants, and then messenger, using those sequencing outputs, we used to synthesize messenger RNA vaccines using genomic insight faster than ever before. Okay, and it was open data sharing empowered worldwide research and responses. Okay, because if a discovery was made in the US, so it was quickly transferred using computers to the next corner, to the other corner of the world. Okay, so basically the vaccine that was being produced in less than an year, it was basically through bioinformatics applications. Okay, sequencing was done and analysis was being done by the, and there was clear insights, and we predict the protein structures and we analyze, we just make vaccines out of it. Okay, so this was the success and this was the true need of bioinformatics, that how it have managed to clear that this big issue. Okay, so next part is that bioinformatics turns data into hope and hope into life-saving action, as mentioned before. Okay, now, so another part is that about the statistics that market growing research. Let's just look here to this data, that in 2020, just in between these 7 years, growth of healthcare data means this biological data. Okay, so in 2013, 153 exabyte data was being generated, but in this 7 year of time, 2314 exabyte data is being generated, healthcare data I'm talking about. Okay, so who will be analyzing this data? We bioinformaticians will analyze the data, the biological data. Okay, so this is why bioinformatics matters today, because we need researchers, we need bioinformaticians, we need bioscientists to analyze this huge amount of data. Okay, now look here, a single patient producing 80 plus megabytes of medical record. I mean, just a single patient. Okay, and it's a very huge number. Okay, and it's related, we can analyze electronic health record, disease registers, medical images. These all are being used to find different ways to combat diseases. Okay, so it's simple. If we are bioinformaticians, And if we want to become bioinformatician, so this huge massive data is waiting for us. We have to analyze it, and everybody cannot analyze it unless he or she can just get into this field. Okay, so this is the scope of bioinformatics and why it matters today. Now, just look here to this statistics that from between 2018 and 2025. Now, looking into the depot of all the data, just look here to the healthcare data. Healthcare data is basically 36%. Its compound annual growth rate. Look here to its growth rate. So who will be analyzing this data? We, bioinformatician, will be analyzing this data. Now just look here to this these publications. Okay, that bioinformatics market is set to reach $28.6 billion by 2030. Okay, an increase of 13.73. And if we look to the research field, so between 2010 and 2019, 35,000 plus published work was related to bioinformatics, and 7,000 papers were online. And just in this 9 years, so just look here to the shift of bioinformatics, okay, how much it is important. Look here, its bioinformatics program are 31-fold overrepresented among the highest impact scientific papers of the last past 2 decades, 31 times writer. Okay, now these are all published articles. You can see it. So this is the scope of bioinformatics. If someone asks you that if you do the bioinformatics, so what will happen? Just check it out. Okay, because this massive data should be analyzed. Now moving further, that looking to the sectors that use bioinformatics: biotech industry, public sector, land and animal conservation, academia, and pharma industry. If we just talk about academia, okay, I'm telling you, just look around and just ask the student circle, okay, that how they are using bioinformatics. Even their professors are ask them to try to integrate bioinformatics into their research. Okay, you just look at just have a quick survey in your university. I think you all are university students. You can ask your fellows, you can ask your different other classmates or different other fields of students that their professor are asking them to integrate bioinformatics into their research. Now, pharma industry. Pharma is mentioned in the COVID-19 vaccine. Just look here that now traditionally drugs are not made. They are not made traditionally. Bioinformatics is being used. They predict that either this protein or this drug will work inside the human body or not. They predict the activity of that drug. After that, they start manufacturing it and producing assays and this. So pharma industry is very much keenly looking into bioinformatics. Okay, biotech industry, we will be discussing it. So sectors that use bioinformatics, they are very much actively looking into these parts. Okay, now look here to the average salary of bioinformatics jobs. You can just see, and I will not just announce the figures. You can just see what the salary packages of bioinformaticians. But one thing first, you should be a skilled bioinformatician. Okay, now average salary is another article publication. There is a huge salary of a bioinformatician. Okay, so I think you're clear about that why bioinformatics matters today. Now, where does we stand now? We stand, some are looking ahead, wondering which career to choose. The intermediate students, I think now they are educated enough that want to start thinking about bioinformatics. So confused between medical and engineering. I told you bioinformatics is a mixture of these two. You can analyze the medical data, so it's medical. You should be proficient in computer science, it's engineering. So you can just grab both the fields using bioinformatics. Okay, now the other part, the biosciences students. Okay, so others already in biosciences, let's discuss with some real life stories. Mainly, I think intermediate students are now clear about it, but now dealing with biosciences, because we are having microbiology students, biotech, biochemistry students. Okay, so we are having some stories of our real life and we'll be telling you. Okay, so the first one is microbiology. Now I have done my bachelor's in microbiology. I was a completely wet lab guy. Okay, and I started microbiology in 2019, and after that what happens that a single course of bioinformatics changed my entire career. So now how I integrate bioinformatics into microbiology, it was quite fascinating. Now, it's also for you people. Now, look here to the metagenomics. I think you are familiar with the word metagenomics. Even if you're not familiar, I will tell you that metagenomics basically, I just give it another name, computational microbiology. Metagenomics is a type of computational microbiology that we analyze the microorganisms, the genomes of microorganisms using computer science, using computers, okay, using coding and Linux and different other programs. So what does and it's a type of dry lab. So in metagenomics, we analyze the genomes of different microorganisms. Just to be very much simple, if you are having a microorganism in a healthy sample and the same microorganism is present in a disease sample, in a disease, for example, we are having two-person, one is healthy and one is we can say that a cancer person. Okay, now E. coli is present in the cancer person also, and E. coli is also present in the normal. Now we perform comparative genomics, that what type of shifts are is does occurs inside that microorganism, and how it influence the cancer condition. Okay, so for that we analyze the whole genome of that microorganism. Okay, and it's not of just one microorganism, we analyze all the microorganisms that are present in that specific sample. Okay, thousands and all the microorganisms. So basically this is metagenomics. If you are a microbiology student, you can think about it. If you do not want to deal microorganism inside in the wet lab, you can just take the data from different databases and you can analyze the microorganisms using their genetic content, all through computer, all through bioinformatics. Okay, no wet lab needed. So this is, and I have done my research. I have done research in metagenomics, and it took me about 1.5 year in my MS research. I completely used computational microbiology, so I didn't leave my field. I am a microbiology student. I'm telling everyone, but I have deal with the microorganisms in computational manner. Okay, not in the wet lab. Okay, so this is how you can integrate microbiology into bioinformatics. The second example, vaccine designing. Okay, vaccine designing is just simple. Well, what you have to do is that you have to analyze the protein content and the genomic content of the microorganism, and you have to check the virulence factors, and then you have to design vaccines out of that proteins. Okay, using different bioinformatics tools and pipelines. So you can completely use microbiology type research in designing a vaccine against a deadly pathogen using its entire genetic content and choosing its best virulence factors. So this is how microbiology can get into bioinformatics, how they can combine. And I have done vaccine designing, I have done it in my bachelor's times. Okay, so you can use it. Now the second is, if someone are from the biotechnology background, so they can easily use bioinformatics using biotechnology. Okay, so the first is that the expression profiling, as mentioned before, about the expression. If you are a biotechnology student and you want to identify a specific biomarker and you want to do a biomarker discovery, so you can use gene expression profiling. You can check into disease and normal states and check that which genes are upregulated or downregulated, and what are the genes that are possibly making a person unhealthy. So you can deal with it using bioinformatics tools and pipelines. So a biotechnology student can deal with gene expression profiling and identify a biomarker discovery and do a biomarker discovery. Now the other thing is whole genome analysis, variant analysis. For example, you want to check that if a person is a diseased person, so what type of mutation does occur inside his genome. Okay, so you can find out that mutation and then you can check that either this mutation is significant or not, and then you can find different ways to computationally to just fit or you just clear up that mutation and check that after clearing that mutation, does the person can get to normal or not. So this can be done using bioinformatics pipelines. Epigenomics, you can also go into the epigenomics part, the epigenetics, that the methylation, that the gene expression. For example, if a specific gene is expressed, so you can check that what are the conditions, what are the potential contributors of its expression, and if that gene is overexpressed and it is causing a disease, so you can find out that what are the contributors to that gene expression. So you can just look into it and you can find out the contributor, and if they are they are harmful, so you can deal with it. Okay, so this all covers the biotechnology concepts, that how you can use biotechnology concepts in dealing with different problems. So this is how biotechnology field. So my field was microbiology and biotechnology, and I have performed these such type of analysis, and I have gained a lot from it. Okay, I haven't touched the wet lab from 2020, and I was completely indulged in bioinformatics. So you can indulge these concepts into your research, and you can be successful in it. Okay, so now this was about the microbiology and biotechnology. Now I will call upon Hazrat Maaz, that he is from a biochemistry background, and he will tell you that how he have transformed his biochemistry career and how he have integrated bioinformatics into his biochemistry career. Okay, so I will invite Maaz now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nadeem. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hazrat Maaz, and I completed my bachelor in biochemistry. During my study, I became wondering how molecule inside our body, like protein, enzyme, and hormone, and control life processes. When these molecules stop working properly, and disease is disappearing at the end. So that curiosity led me to explore how we can design new drugs to fix these molecular problems, and that's where the biochemistry, bioinformatics, and the AI come together. So biochemistry, we will talk about biochemistry first. Biochemistry is like the language of life. In simple term, it helps us to understand what happening inside our cells at a molecular level. Every drug we take, whether it's a painkiller or antibiotic or antidepressant, work by interacting with a specific protein or enzyme in our body. Let's say, take example, if a protein causing too much pain signaling, a drug molecule can bind it and block that signal. So before designing any drug, biochemists first study which protein is causing the disease, and a target identification, and we have its structure and function. So uh, now let's move to biochemistry to drug design, like how drug designing help us in that field. Like drug designing means we are creating molecule that can bind to the target protein, produce a desired biological effect. And there are two main approaches till to know, like structure based drug designing, where we know the 3D structure of protein and design a molecule that fits perfectly, like like we are solving a puzzle, right? And ligand based drug design, we use data from already known drugs compounds to design new improved version. Like traditionally, we what we do before bioinformatics and before computer comes into the at this interdisciplinary field. Like traditional scientists tested thousands and of compounds in a lab, and when you tested thousands of compounds at the same time, it you will be more slow and a cost process, and we'll be facing issues that. But today, the with computers, with algorithms, we can do a virtual screening as a process, like a computational guided process, and a molecular docking and a simulation. These are the processes and the rational drug designing to bind every even and before going to the lab. Now comes to the most exciting part, artificial intelligence, like how AI can help out in this field, like drug designing. How AI is transforming the entire drug designing discovery like pipeline. Instead of manually analyzing thousands of molecules, AI can learn pattern from massive data sets. We can provide like structured data sets, and like we have a different databases like Chambel, PDB, etc., etc. We download the data from there, make a data set, and we get the data as an info to the model, right? And then model can simply predict which compound might work the best. Like it predict the toxic, it predict the drugs, it predict the activity which involved in the drug designing, and which involved the blocking of the channels and pathways, right? So the very famous example, like in the previous AlphaFold, which is developed by Google DeepMind, predicts 3D protein structure with incredible accuracy. So biochemistry and give us a foundation, the understanding of life at a molecular level, and drug designing use that knowledge to create molecules that can cure disease. And AI can bring a speed, accuracy, and innovation, and turning years of research into months. So together, they are shaping the future of medicine from data to discovery. So that's all. Simply, without AI, all the processes will be very time taking, consuming a lot amount of money. So AI can help in this field, and very quickly and cost effective. So that's all from my side. Now I invite to Munib Nasir to go further. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Maz. Okay, as we move toward the end of our session, let's take a moment to look at a clear roadmap for entering the field of bioinformatics. First and foremost step is to build a strong domain foundation, which means that you need to understand the basics of molecular biology, genetics, and the computer systems. The step two is to learn key tools such as BLAST, Galaxy, and the UCSC Genome Browser, where these are the basic tools for the bioinformatics and to analyze the data. And they form the practical starting point for every bioinformatician. Once you are comfortable with these tools, you can move forward to the step 3, which is to understand the databases and the data formats like bed format, FASTQ format, FASTA formats. So these are different file formats, and you also need to understand the basic databases, which are the resources for a resource point for the bioinformatics. For example, you can explore the database like NCBI, which is a cluster and a consortium of many databases, and UniProt database, which is a protein database, protein information database. You can also use the Ensemble database that provides the basic genomic data, and you need to understand the FASTA file format, and you can also get to know about the PDB format, PDB database. PDB basically is also a database and a format tool that provides the 3D structures and the information about the proteins and molecules. Next comes the learning to programming languages. Python language that can be used for data handling and visualization. R language is best for statistics and the omics data analysis. And you also need to know about the bash language. These are the key allies here for the automation and the data analysis in the bioinformatics. Then you need to explore the specializations. For example, you can go into the genomics and the transcriptomics or metagenomics data, or you can also go into the structural bioinformatics, and you can also apply the artificial intelligence in biology and develop the predictive models for the community. And finally, apply and contribute through the Kaggle projects and the hackathons and open source collaborations. So this roadmap gives you direction. So start small, stay consistent, and keep building layer by layer. So now, once you have started your journey, how can you go into the bioinformatics? How can you grow yourself as a bioinformatics researcher? And we have listed some of the steps here for your information. The first step, you can choose a field, whether you are fascinated by genomics or you are interested in the drug discovery, and you want to focus your direction in that field. So next, you can select a disease or a biological problem you want to understand, and this gives your research purpose to move into that direction. Then you need to read the latest review papers and the research articles, and you have to identify the gaps in the current knowledge and see where you can contribute and could make a difference in the field. So next, you have to create a mind map and to connect those genes and molecular pathways and their molecular interactions. So this helps in the visualization of the biological complexity about the disease and the particular problem. After that, you need to pick an approach. For instance, use the genomic datasets from NCBI Geo database to analyze the disease versus normal condition, or a drug discovery approach to identify the potential targets and inhibitors and the key players in that disease. Once your workflow is ready, you need to move to the implementation, and you can use the bioinformatics tools. You may have to develop the bioinformatics scripts or the online tools if you are not familiar with the programming languages, and you may also have to develop or apply the algorithms to generate the results. And finally, you can also publish. Then you can publish your findings and share your work with the scientific community. So that's how you grow, get visibility, and start contributing to the global research. So now I know that for many of you, entering bioinformatics might still feel intimidating. So you might be thinking, I'm not from the biology, or I'm afraid of coding, or statistics is just not my thing. So, but here's the truth. Every expert you see today started from exactly where you are. So the key is to take the first step. You don't need to know everything right away. Start with curiosity and consistency. And the best part, you are not alone in this journey. And that brings us that at Omics Nexus, we are here to make your learning journey smoother and more impactful. We offer training, workshops, and crash courses designed to give you real hands-on experience. For those looking to develop something bigger, we also provide the project development and the research services, which helps to take your ideas from concept to the completion phase. And if you also want to a personalized guidance, we also provide one-on-one mentorship and the consultancy, where our experts will walk you through every stage from tool mastery to the publication strategy. And our goal is to help you learn, grow, and stand out in the bioinformatics community. So If you would like to stay connected with us, just scan the QR code on your screen. You will get direct access to our updates, upcoming workshops, and the announcements. You can also reach us through our email, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. All the details are mentioned below. Stay informed, stay curious, and stay ahead with Omics Nexus. So that brings us to the end of our session today, the Bioinformatics Starter Kit webinar. On behalf of the entire Omics Nexus team, I want to thank each one of you for being here and taking your first step into the world of bioinformatics. We hope today's session inspired you to explore, experiment, and engage more deeply with this exciting field. Now, we would love to hear from you. If you have any sort of queries, feel free to ask them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. So let's open the floor for our question and answer sessions. So